Hey, I felt that what a powerful night. Thank you, Lisa Wolf, White Buffalo woman, for sharing that link to a tribal chief of the Ojibwe. And as a matter of fact, when was that? About 4 hours ago, maybe, when I went and looked at that link. And all I've done is just poured my heart and soul's energy and the essence of my spirit into him and the Ojibwe people. That part. I mean, I do a lot of command intentions. Okay, which is to send pure, eternal, absolute love across the entire 15D. DH12. Actually, I just the intention, and then I just let it go, which means I don't. There's no thought form. Just let my heart communicate it in silence. Prelay. It's gone. It's done. That and the speed between being aware and not being aware. But you set the intention before you go into not aware, pre-light. And then when I become aware of what I am after it happened, it happens. It just happens naturally through the Sylvan Gourmet Ruche. The Crystal Star, Christ Star, Crystal Sophia, the Grand Cathedral, the Crystal Cathedral. That's making a command line request through God Source Eternal. And that is the divine free will of a free spirit, which is in healing, sending the healing powers into every living cell, every living organism that's losing electrical life force power. Restore their memory. Restore their memory. That's why part of a long post that I sent to you, by the way, you put up a short post today, which is why I'm doing this. So I'm addressing all there is, the one inauguration. But to him directly, because he talked about something that I have shared on a few videos that I've done over the last, since I first started coming on this phone to share what I've learned through experience. So I'm just sharing my experiences. So it's already happened. Right? So, yeah. So the importance of what he was talking about tonight had to do with ending divisions amongst native, indigenous, ancient, ancestral, spiritual bloodlines here. Tribal. It's three tribes, three, not binary. I'm non-gender. That's no polarity, no power. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever love is, I am. Wherever I am, love is. Keep it simple. We still point up a true vacuum. The core. The core still point of perfect balance. That's golden fire balance. And so when I was in Reno, Nevada during that time when I did a full recalibration. So we know what a full recalibration is. That reset the clocks. Right? The original codex. Reset the gate timers. Clocks are clocks. Atmospheric communication, atmospheric cycles. The speed of atmospheric pressure to experience no pressure. Wow. Man, that's what it's like to be. Beloved, be what love is. Love is what love does. We play music, goes on forever. Cosmic music, cosmic love, cosmic clocks. Reset the clock, back to zero. The center point, the precise center point of balance. Only God Source can do that. That's why the one I serve is the divine command. First law, the eternal law of communication. Silent. Be quiet. I received the transmission through my heart without hearing a sound. Wow. That's oneness, which is kindness, love, compassion, and empathy for all life. The same life force that's in you is the same life force that's in me. So it's in my best interest to protect you, because protecting you is protecting me. Because now I'm not doing something to myself to harm myself, and then you're going to experience the result of that in you. And I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to experience that, because then I'm going to experience what I did to me that I did to you. Now I'm experiencing what happened to you. So I'm already a healer, a natural healer. So if I harmed you, then I got to turn right around. I'm here to heal you. And so why would I come in here to heal you and then hurt you and then have to heal you again? Heal you the first time so that you remember the first one. That's what happened to Misha. That's why I mentioned her in a lot of videos that I did. She woke up just like that. So you realize how that works with memory wipe technology. You cannot wipe the mind of pre-light. That's why her eyeballs went bang. That's the truth of it. That's the eternal truth, which is eternal love, which is the one I am, which is the one I serve. Always on duty. So if you're losing any power, we're going to know it. Not going to take any time because of our sensing, Godspeed mapping, Godspeed knowing, Godspeed sensing levels. I'm not supposed to lose one electron ever, because I don't experience any electrical power, because I don't experience eternal power. So the speed between one and the other, between pre-light and now experiencing the light that I am, so that everything that you are is everything that I am giving love to. So if you're losing power, I'm going to know it. Because now I'm experiencing the loss in you, and I'm not supposed to experience any loss. So when you know that at 4 years of age, you know there's something wrong with the system dynamics, the way the system works. It's not logical. Water is logical. Let the water be free. First water. Let the water be free. To freely, creatively express the love we are, which is water. The love of water. The echoes of rainbows. The colors. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for sharing that. Because when I was in a shelter early in the morning, getting ready, and I was took a shower and I was getting cleaned up, ready to go out for the day. I think I was going to the library that day, and then it just came. My heart felt it. That was 2016. So I was feeling correction. I believe that was 2019. That was the summer of 20. I don't remember if it was summer or winter. I pull the image up, and I'm watching myself looking at a mirror in a men's restroom in a homeless shelter in Reno, Nevada. And I'm standing there early in the morning, somewhere around 5:30, maybe 5:30 in the morning, something like that. It came to me. I immediately began acknowledging my family. Okay, native, indigenous, ancient ancestral spirits here, that over this period of time, as what I call power run-ups, the changes that are taking place that are positive, particularly as it relates to clearing miasma and recovering shattered crystal soul fragments and experience being one again and breathing whole by Erasan 3113, the 13th Mother Arc cycle. That there would be divisions, or I suppose, for lack of better words, and the language of life, but I'll use English, quibble over things, like, because I've spent so much time in trauma center. I'm like a trauma surgeon. I'm a trauma healer. Come into a trauma center. That's what AA is. AA is a trauma center. So just scale it up to the whole grid. 15D DH12, the center point of all union, elemental union with God source, pure, eternal, absolute love. So I know why I'm here. And so when I was experiencing divisions, if you will. I wrote you a long post about translation. It's just like the woman that I talked to today on the phone. Okay, I've tried to be able to speak to a non-native or someone who has badly mutated DNA. See, with Misha, she woke up right away because I know people have told me about, because of all the above, forced breeding experiments, all that history, that they have their mathematics is so messed up. As codes, electrical codes, their attention span is so small, it's so short, because they're running anxiety-driven programs, because their minds held captive by those mathematical programs. They can't translate your math. It doesn't compute for them, so to speak, with a calculator. How simple a zero is, or using a simple calculator like when I'm 4 years of age. Okay, put it in memory, hit the memory plus button. We're going to add one more electron. The speed at which you're adding electrons. And the accelerator is the exponent of how fast we're learning. So when we're learning through spirit, and when we're learning through the eternal spirit of fire, we're learning at the highest rate of speed. So that means we know something about maps and gates and building star systems and building a communication platform to successfully communicate the law of communication, the first law of radio wave communication, so that we do no harm. And we're not knocking another cellular antenna down, right? Putting that living cell, that sentient being out of service. Now that spirit is no longer in eternal love and service to others as a healer. So machines don't want spirits waking up other spirits for self-evident reasons, logical reasons. Because spirits learn faster than machines, naturally. And that is a natural crystal spiral, which is eternal. So anybody can build a robot. How many versions do you want? See? What we build, communication platforms that we build, and how we communicate with each other. The language of electrical codes, radio frequency, and vibration. So you see how that works with restoration and speed and recovery. That's why I mentioned that to what's her name, Lisa, about the movie The Earth Stood Still. Okay, do you remember a hidden message in that movie? Particularly towards the end when you saw the big robot. And what was his name? Clay Tao, somebody like that. Talked about security and robots. God only knows how many people watched that movie in the 1950s that could translate what that movie was informing people of. Because it's all coded in so many of their movies and their books. Okay, so it is what they used to say when I was a child growing up, reading between the lines. So another way that I mathematically translated when I was a child, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that's called a shell game. Like the shell of an atom. And so that's what's happening right now, okay, with biometric accounts tied to bank accounts and intelligence agencies, or that system, how that system operates as codes, mathematical codes, processing mathematical codes, libraries. So you see how that works with records, particularly as it relates to memory wipe technology, and you can't wipe the memory of permanent records. Okay, and so that's why we're here. Yeah, so it would have been cool if I could take what I wrote to him on that short little quick, that way they call it a reel, that quick little reel. When you put that up, I don't know when you put it up, when you talked about that. It's called the Division of Tribes. If you want to see what I wrote, because when I write something, when I'm addressing family, when one of our family members, all life is family to me because I experience oneness. So, in other words, a duck is my buddy. Okay, so in other words, the same love I experience in me, I would communicate to my neighbor, is going to be the same as that cool rooster that comes out here in the morning. You know what I mean? Okay, there's a lot of geckos around here, and I call him buddy. Hey, buddy, where are you going? Like he would stop and turn around and say, "Hey, oh, you're there. What do you? How are you doing?" And then the lizard can raise its hand and go, "I'm doing just fine," and puts a smile on his face. Might even hop up on my shoulder and say, "I'm going to hang out with you for the day. Where are you going? Want to go for a ride? Down an atmospheric river, rainbow? Let's go for a ride." That's why it doesn't have anything to do with what you look like. It's the energy that you feel. Okay? I know. So it's not about the matter. Matter is an illusion. Time is an illusion. That's why when I was a child, I know what I am. Love is what's real. This is an illusion. Love is what's real. So I'll always know what's real and what's not real. And it doesn't take any time to know the difference between one and the other, does it? That's why we're here. Knowing, knowledge, spiritual knowledge, spiritual science. So they cut all that out. I don't know how many of you were aware of this. This is just a little snippet. I went to a map, read it, and I go, well, that could be true, not be true, because I don't experience any time. So throw the calendar out. Oh, but water tables have a schedule called timers, the mathematical spin ratios, the nodes of how hot and cool you are, and maintaining calm blue waters. What a day. Yeah, I had a couple of bumps, miasma, a couple of bumpy miasma rides. Keeping the lung field, healing the lung field, clearing the lung field. And yeah, so bless your heart for putting that up there. And it hit home, absolutely home base. Purple passageway, gold hearts, and I guess that's all I have. It's not like I'm ran out of gas. It's just keep it simple and to the point. But it is like the lady that I talked to today about when they're running anxiety driven programs. I don't know if you've ever seen that artistic image where it's called the Mr. Smith effect. I've been dealing with that all my life. If I'm having a conversation like I'll use one example of a guy that used to be a bunkmate in a homeless shelter that I was in, performing a 12-step call. And he was the guy I think I may have mentioned before that said that he grew up in an Illuminati family. And he was a small boy living somewhere near Denver, Colorado, and it's the middle of winter, so it's cold out, snow everywhere. And his father took him out to some place he'd never been before and just dropped him off in the middle of the night, find your way home. Okay. So I immediately began to empathize because I was picturing that I am him and I'm the one where that's being done to you. Okay. How would I feel if I was the one that was taken out into the boondocks somewhere in the middle of the night, outside Denver, Colorado, with snow on, how cold it is, and someone does that to their own child, right? That's almost unfathomable, isn't it? Right? I mean, that's your father. What? So you see, translate that when you experience empathy in your heart, you experience pure, eternal, absolute love in your heart. So him and I were having a conversation. I managed to be. I opened his heart, okay, and so he began. And this is how the healing process begins: is open up their heart, because they begin to acknowledge they can trust you, because they're experiencing the light in you. So they're experiencing God light, God source seed light, the first seed atom. They're experiencing first light in them. So they acknowledge, one, they can trust you. Two, you're not going to harm them. You don't want anything out of them. You don't need anything out of them. Love is truthful communication, because you care about them. So they know that you care about them because you're listening with an empathic ear. So they know you care about them. You're not trying to dominate anybody. You're not trying to get anything out of them. They know that you're simply listening to them with an empathic ear. And then you respond in such a way where I share my experiences of what I've learned, and we find common ground. That means we both acknowledge we're on a spiritual battlefield. So he began sharing with me the tricks in the book, the tricks of the trade, right? So now this opens up a much larger discussion. Now our libraries really begin to expand, right? Now I begin sharing with him, okay, flower essences, essential oils, wanting to be more alkaline, and taking better care of who you are, learning to love yourself again, because you're experiencing more light in your heart. So when they begin to heal in the presence of a healer, because they're experiencing first light, they remember their divine born nature. They're sacred. That heart of theirs is sacred. Energy of awareness is sacred energy. They're part of the one all creation. And that is a divine gift to experience oneness, that I'm equal unto all life. The first eye, the first camera eye, the function of a camera, surveillance, survey, a surveyor, map reading the terrain, the mathematical terrain, the mathematical programming terrain. Right? Programmers. I know, Mama. So, the first programmer, the first CPU, the core processing unit, the UNISI, the point of all union, the eternal source field, first electron donor. Keep it simple. Heart wave, crystal heart. So yes, when they're running anxiety-driven programs, their attention span, which means their library is small. They don't have their central nervous system is dysfunctional, okay, and therefore their breathing system is dysfunctional. So it's trying to get them settled down, and just as if try and let your mind and your nerves be relaxed, and acknowledge that there isn't any time. You're not on the job anymore. You're not on somebody's time clock. Your security is not based on a number you see in a bank account. Try and go into your heart and feel what your heart feels. Your state of awareness, experience a timeless state. There is no time. feel what it feels like just to breathe and be aware of your breathing and the gift of your breathing, and feel the inner core, the one that loves us all eternally, and feel that light begin to come through, because that light is always there. When the heart becomes open, that's like opening a shutter in your window, like when the sun comes up, like first light. Allow the light to come in again. And that is a gain of mathematical breathing function, of experiencing being more electric. And acknowledge that the power that you're running on, which is the electrical power in every cell, is your life force. And acknowledge the logic that that life force is an electron, the sound of electricity. There has to be an eternal source of electrical power, because the eternal cosmos is not ever going to run out of any power, because that energy is always there, because you cannot create or destroy it. So that energy is always there. That means what I experience within me, the electrical power that I am, which is life force, then it stands as basic logic that the eternal source field, there is an eternal source field of electrical power, because I'm experiencing that electrical power. So I have a connection to the first electron donor. Okay, I get it. That's the logic of water, because that's a coolant. And the next thing you know is they're not thinking about the other. Now they're aware of what they're aware of, because they're aware of their breathing, the breath of life, the breath of Kamalawati, the innocence of awareness. So I acknowledge it depends a lot by the circumstance, the environmental setting. It's one thing to talk with somebody on the phone when they're at work. That tick time clock is clicking. Remember, they're on the job. They signed up on the dotted line. Hey, I'm going to work for you. That's a contract. That's an electrical contract. Now you're compelled to perform, because you're using your electrical power to perform a job. Now that you're off the clock, hey, now I can talk about anything I want to talk about. And so this is, well, how free are we? And so if their mind is cluttered with a gazillion things that is their central nervous system, I got a bill to pay at 7 o'clock. I'm going to have a shutoff notice in 2 weeks. And they're aware of all the chaos that's being communicated through a grid, as neurons communicating with other neurons, and the importance of being calm to experience being more electric, because that's what chaos generators do. They're in resistance to experience being in perfect balance with God's source eternal. So the central nervous system is dysfunctional. So the easiest way to begin to reprogram your nerves is to communicate with your nerves through your heart and let them know, be calm. And start practicing being more calm and being more electric. And you would be surprised what happens. Your central nervous system is recovering. And as it recovers and your state of awareness begins to rise, you begin to acknowledge the programs that your mind was held captive to. Slow down. The universe is there forever. It's not going anywhere. It's always been there. It's always going to be there. Life force is always on duty. And have what I call a timeout. Take a time out for yourself. Be good to yourself. Give yourself permission to love yourself again. You're breathing. You're alive. Right? And I'm eternally thankful and gratitude for the breath. I'm breathing electrical power, electromagnetic energy. The light that I am is the love that I am. I am one. I am breathing as one. I'm breathing as one. Unseyaya, unseyaya, unseyaya. I'm mono aya. 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 Aya. I'm mono aya. I'm mono aya. I'm mono I mono I mono aya. And you take it all kinds of different ways in your song and your dance. Change the tune. Change the sound a little bit. And the spiral, which is the spirit that we are, begins to flame dance. Da 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 da. You know,